So, I realized the mistake I've made, but it's nothing major. Uh, I don't know how well you can see the eyes on that, but the bigger problem is I used Morghast bone instead of Wraith bone. Why does that matter? Morghast is a bit too yellow, and Wraith bone was a bit more off white, and I needed off white, not off yellow. But anyway, welcome to what is hopefully the final episode of Chill and Build for my Eradicator squad. Why hopefully? Because, not because I think it's been going on for too long, but it'd just be nice to be done with this and I can move on to something else. Ah, there is my Rhinox hide. So, the plan is still the same. I'm still going to apply the burn effect last. For starters, Warpstone, Liberator Gold, and Corvus Black. I probably should do Iron Hand Steel because I'm pretty certain the tubes on the mask are supposed to be metallic. So I think what I'll do first is I'll do the Iron Hand Steel, paint that where I can, and then paint over, or paint that like just on the face and everything, and then I will add Warpstone Glow on the respirator part right there. Then I'll move on with the Corvus Black, and then this time, since it'll take less time, I'll do it last with the Liberator Gold. Then I'll try and do some the Rhinox hide on things back there. I'm hoping nothing bad happens from it, but knowing me, that's always a possibility. Switch. How's that do? That's looking good. All right. So, nope. Let's start with you and let's get going. I also ordered some food, so you're probably going to hear the dog bark at some point. Got that shaken up. Ooh, that is not a good sign. I hope that doesn't mean it's drying out. You can't really. I don't know how well you can tell because on my screen there's the chat bar and it's kind of blurring everything, but there's like a thick bit of that silver paint, and I'm wondering if this paint is starting to dry out or coagulate. I might have to get some water because another fucking gnat decided to drown in that water. Awesome. Perfect. Fantastic. I am going to need some magnification, so I might end up... So I'm probably going to paint this off. Oh, actually, nope. You're going to get a very weird lighting angle, and I apologize highly for that. Okay, so yeah, the next time I decide to do a salamander head and it involves this mask, I am for sure going to have to paint that separate from the rest of the model. Or, sorry, mini, not model. There is a difference. Alright, let that sit for a minute. While I have the steel ready, is there anything that could use a touch-up? You could use a touch-up there. There's the dog. Sorry about that. The dog has gotten into his head that he should bark at anyone who approaches. Anyway, I just realized while I have the silver, I can paint this decal right there. Let that dry for a minute. Oh, okay. Ooh, I thought I accidentally shut that tab. Wow, they actually remembered the straw this time? I'll try not to eat on, or at least with the microphone on. Okay, I'm gonna do that thing again, so I apologize if the camera gets blown out, or if the picture gets blown out. Fuck, nope, damn it. There we go. Let that dry too, and then I will be painting over the masks now. Gonna mute myself real quick. Alright. Let's go ahead, clean off the tip of the brush there. Yeah, so because I can't get back there very well, I'll just leave those ear guards black. And hopefully that doesn't look too out of place, because I know the salamanders are... Their main colors are usually black and green. The only issue is that is technically the back of their helmet, because I don't know how often it shows up, but definitely some Primaris helmets have the ability to like detach from to like disassemble a little bit and come off easier. At least as seen in Secret Levels, They Shall Know No Fear. Which, if you haven't seen that and you have an Amazon Prime subscription, at least watch Secret Levels, They Shall Know No Fear. It is really well animated and really well done. I hope they do a season 2. I don't need that much green, so I'm probably just going to use a little bit of a little dollop. definitely going to need some more paint. That's a little too liquidy. Actually, let's see how that looks on the test. Oh yeah, that could absolutely use more paint. Let's get a little bit more. Might need to add a little bit more water. Okay, that's much better. Let's move this. I don't trust myself to not drop anything in there. All right. Debating whether or not to do the Corvus Black now or just go straight to the Liberator Gold and then save the Corvus Black. I think I'll just do the Corvus Black. I'm going to mute myself real quick so I can eat something. Oh, you're gonna comment that? You're gonna comment that on my channel and dual stuff, huh? Banhammer, get the fuck out. Before I move on to the next color, let me add a little bit more there. Now, I think I have less surface area to cover with the Corvus Black, so I will go with Corvus Black. I just need to be very, very careful where I paint. I think I mentioned this before, but I really should try and get a hold of some pipettes. So I'll do the same thing. Not have a whole lot, but definitely enough to get on the head. What's the matter, bud? Oh god, he's gonna bark even harder later because today I am expecting. Hold on, I need to go check on something real quick. Sorry about that. The way my dog was sitting, I thought someone was home, but nope. So far, just me and Ocean. All right, moment of truth. Oh, let's. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, gonna let that sit for a minute, and then I will apply a second coat after that. Man, I want to know what their syrup mixture is at McDonald's for their sodas. Because here's an interesting fact: soda machines do have a way where you can adjust the syrup to, I think it was the syrup to water mixture, and I guess somehow McDonald's has just mastered the ability to have the perfect syrup to water ratio. Close that. I did need some magnification again, so I apologize in advance. Sorry I had to paint off camera, but I really need this magnification. Then I think that is it for the Corvus. I'm just going to go ahead and wash off the brush just because I can. Well, it's kind of hard to tell Corvus Black from Abaddon Black, which is the base that I use for my salamanders. And unfortunately, the eyes aren't popping the way I wanted them to, but that's on me. I was an idiot. I'll let that dry for a bit, and then I'll apply another coat just to see if layering some coats on helps bring that out better. Because when it goes on, it looks like a grayish black, almost not entirely gunmetal, but like a darker gunmetal. But then once it dries, it looks like it looks like Abaddon Black. Alright, let that dry. If nothing changes, then I'll just abandon layering on the Corvus Black. And Yeah, then I'll just move on to the breastplate. I don't know if that's technically called the Aquila, because I mean, Aquila just means eagle, and the Aquila of the Imperium is just that double-headed eagle, which I learned something very interesting from some lore videos, and apparently the two-headed eagle represents humanity's past and humanity's future. The one representing the past has coverings over its eye and it's looking to the right, while the one looking to the future is looking to the left and has its eyes unobscured. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself while that dries and eat something real quick. Excuse me. All right. Onward to the Liberator Gold. That is out of sight. Okay. So again, with the Liberator Gold, and like with most of the other stuff, not going to use a whole lot. Just small dollop, small bit of water. Actually, I might need to use a bit more than that because that gold always takes multiple coats. Oh, Emu, you moron. I didn't touch up that one spot I needed to touch up. That's okay. I still have plenty of Warpstone Glow. So I don't think a release date has been announced yet, but I have seen that they are teasing Hogwarts Legacy 2. So that reminds me of two things. One, I need to finish Hogwarts Legacy 1 on stream. And two, I am absolutely going to play that. If you have issue with that, well, I'm sorry that you are such a sad person. Yeah, while I'm doing this, I'm noticing that the other two kind of have a little bit of green showing where the skull and wings are, so I will add a little bit more Liberator Gold to those guys. Sorry, I'm gonna tap that a little bit less, a little bit gentler now because I've realized in my VODs whenever I do the normal tapping, it is very loud and shrill. So I apologize to anyone who's been watching this from the beginning and has been hearing me just smack that water cup like it's nobody's business. All right, that's whoop. I apologize. Oh, that's not that's not my recent one. That's an older one. All right, let that dry for a minute. Yeah, ultimately I'm not seeing a color difference really. Maybe a bit lighter, but I don't know. Which sucks, but hey, maybe I just did something wrong. That is one of the biggest parts of scale modeling and miniatures. You will screw up, but do not take that to heart. Learn from him. Learn, you must. Because as any hobbyist will tell you, the only way you can get better at painting is just paint. Do or, as Yoda said, do or do not, there is no try. Paint or don't, there is no maybe. I really am excited to finish this. Not because I want to be over with it, but because this will be the first unit I have finished painting. I still have my Devastator squad. Only one, they're primed, and only one of them is basically finished painting. The rest still require paint. Then there's also my Gray Bane Blade, and then I'm still putting together my Rhino. I'm not gonna lie, I am actually kind of terrified of moving on to the dry brushing, just because I am neurotic, and what that means is I expect the worst to happen, even if it's like not plausible. Yeah, there's still a little bit of green that just refuses to get covered up. Ooh. Oh shit, where did that dry brush go? There it is. I just want to have that on hand. You know, just I would like to know where it is and not have to look for it later. This chess piece is probably going to come out better than the rest, and I'm a little annoyed about that, but that's also because I've been painting a bit more of the chess pieces now. It's a catch 22. It's like, God damn it, I'm annoyed that that's better, but then at the same time, it's like, well, it's actually good that it's better because that means I'm improving. Okay, I think I've applied as much Liberator Gold as I can. There's still a little bit of green at the top, but that could also just be that's never going to get covered up. Okay, let's go with the Rhinox hide, then I will touch up that spot specifically right there. Ocean just came out of the bathroom. But yeah, like kind of right there, just right where the gun is, where the end of the gun is. And then I move on to what is probably going to be the hardest thing I've ever tried to do. But first, let's go with the Rhinox hide. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Excuse me. Good grief. I'm actually making really good progress. It's only 46, and I'm 46 minutes into the stream, and I am very close to just being done. Oh shit, you know what? While that Liberator Gold is still a bit wet, there's a dirty joke in there somewhere. I'm sure all of you will be mature about it. I'm okay if some of this bleeds over onto the gun. I think I'm done trying to touch up that. Oh yeah, that's much better. Let that dry. Alright, let's clean this up a little bit just so I have a bit more space to cock up something. Alright, shake a bit more. Whew. You know, I probably shouldn't be opening this up over the carpet. That's a little too much water. But that's okay. I was considering doing some weathering or even like a little metal stud on the pouches, but that requires more skill than I have. Yeah, that looks good enough. it for the Rhinox hide. Could I add water to the dried up paint? Maybe. But I don't trust the consistency. So I'll just find a new spot to be a nuisance on. Do. That might be a little too much water. That's too much water. IGN would hate it. That really grinds my fucking gears. Oh, this interactive movie with barely any fucking video game input. Let's give it a 10 out of 10. And but this game that's been in development for years and has some actually talented people behind it. Nah, let's give it a 5.
Sliding glass door open.
There's this game about cartoon mice with whimsy in it. Nah, let's give that a 6. Normally, I'm not one to attack people for their taste in games because I'm sure I enjoy games that some people just absolutely loathe. I mean, to give you a look into my taste, everyone hates the Dwayne the Rock Johnson Doom movie, but I like it. um, but if anyone liked Mixtape, I'm sorry, you objectively have horrible taste. It's the worst kind of nostalgia bait. It's nostalgia bait created by someone who didn't even grow up in the 90s. I didn't even grow up in the 90s. I was born at the tail end of the 90s. I'm a 2000s kid basically. But in just this one instance, I'm going to make an exception. If you enjoyed Mixtape, you have a very bad taste in games, and I hope your pillow is warm on both sides every night. Clean off that brush a little bit. Let that dry for a minute, and then I'm going to make myself and eat another burger. All right. All right, I think that's it. Yeah, let me touch up the boot a bit. Oh, Emu, you're stalling. No, shut up. Your mom's stalling. All right, let that dry again. So, leave it to me to do that. Thankfully, nothing spilt. Excuse me. Alright, you quit stalling, man. You get off my ass, dude. The burn effect on minis. Minis, Jesus. Oh, no, he's not using the paints I'm using. Let's see, where is my channel history? Or my watch history, not my channel history. No, not my watch later, god damn it, history. Oh, is it time for baseball again? I hope the Rockies do good. Yeah, that feels a little soft tipped. All right, moment of truth. If I screw this up, if I screw this up, I die. There's just there's no in between. I either succeed or I die. Okay, I'm pretty certain that's a soft brush. I hope it's a soft brush. Okay. Ooh. Okay, moment of truth. Alright, I'm gonna let that... Gonna let that dry. I think it was like, I think he said 2 to 3 minutes, so we'll just have to sit and wait for a minute. But you can kind of see it. I think the light is reflecting off of the silver a bit too much, so it's obscuring kind of that color gradient. I don't know how well this can show up on camera. Should go over yeah. Yeah, it's not showing up on camera. I think he said 2 to 3 coats. Let me double check. Might need to change what kind of brush I'm using. So apparently this process is called stippling. Alright, let's go ahead, get that all around. Because apparently if you try to just paint with a wash, you run the risk of kind of causing this streaking effect, and then that doesn't look very good on the wash. Alright, let that dry. It's about 12, so it's an hour 12 right now, an hour 15. Hour 15:30. Is that the play associate? Good luck.
No. Hello?
Yeah, while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm just gonna go ahead and mute myself and eat another hamburger. All right. Got another 15 seconds. Oh yeah, that's starting to form now. All right, let's go again. Well, Pacifica is still Pacifica. Was it good news, Ocean?
No, this is a school checking up on Seattle's doing.
Okay. All right. 17, 120. An hour 20. I'll add. You know what? I think that's good enough. Once that dries, I will add in the Luxion purple. Gonna go ahead and wash off that shade from there. There's the dog. What's the dog need? So then from there, probably about kind of that midsection forward here, that's where I'm going to want to start applying more, applying the purple. I may have made a mistake by making the whole barrel that kind of sepia, but hey, live and learn. All right. That's dried. Let's very carefully open up this purple. Okay. All right, let that rest. I'll let this dry for 2 minutes. It seems like 3 minutes is a little excessive. The waiting. The goddamn waiting. So just to avoid having any residual kind of stuck on there, I'll go ahead and rinse this off. Oh, see, and I may need you to bring me another paper towel just so I can dry off this brush. But that remains to be seen. Alright. Get the brush wet again. Shake that a little bit. Though I would say if you're finding you want to do a burn effect, I would not go for Lixian purple. I think it was like Drukhari Violet was the one the guy was using. This one was just only because the shop I think was out of Drukhari Violet, which is totally fine. Okay, let's let that dry, and then I will apply one last coat. Although, that is actually looking really good. I could probably obfuscate the Drakenhof Nightshade, but I'm still going to include that. But man, that is looking spectacular so far. I don't know how well that's showing up on camera. 29 minutes. Okay. Ooh, I need to clean off that brush. I did not clean off that brush. Oop, I'm sorry. That purple went back a little too far, but that's okay. All right. That does it for the Lexian purple. Do a little bit of shaking. We do be doing a little bit of that. All right. Just going to go ahead and prime the brush. Mercury. All right, let's let that dry. Ocean, could you bring me 2 paper towels, please? Thank you. I'll see you. Oh, damn it.
Sorry.
I might have to cut off the stream. Yeah, I have to cut off the stream. Thank you for stopping in. See ya.